There is a 2-hour difference that you can make moves when it comes to trading NASDAQ. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down that 2-hour window for you to be able to make profits and gain as much profits as you can just by catching a simple whopping 20 pips. And if you don't know who I am, I go by Solo ETV, and on my YouTube channel, I talk about scalping, how to flip accounts, how to grow accounts, and how to maintain scalability as well as consistency. And also we turn a $4,000 into $40,000 here on my YouTube live stream. And what I'm doing now is teaching exactly how to do it consistently. So if you aren't already, make sure you do me a huge favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, let's go ahead and get straight to it. When it comes to trading 20 pips, particularly when it comes to trading something like NASDAQ, which is a heavy lifter, it is important to go with a broker that doesn't require a lot of spreads and is better for you to execute at a fast pace. So that being said, I'm going to suggest and highly recommend you guys go with GatesFX. This is one of the ones that we have been talking about for quite some time. This is what myself and my entire community trade all in one. Once again, if you don't have a broker and you want to get in tune with GatesFX, this is perfect, especially with the strategy I'm gonna break down. And one more other thing, if you want to get in my Discord community for free, as well as get all of the detailed videos that we break down from everything that you need to know of whack-offs, compounding strategy, how to build supply demand, Elliott wave, and so much more, you can get that all literally through tradewithsolo.com. And the option that I have available is if you deposit at least $250 into GatesFX and start trading with GatesFX, you can get in our community for free just because this is where we all trade together. So that being said, let's talk about it. Now, NASDAQ scalping window, no one talks about. Why this window matters is simply because NASDAQ, I noticed, has the cleanest liquidity during 9:20 to about 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. And sometimes it even pushes it out to about 10 a.m. Eastern time as well. But been looking at NASDAQ for literally over 6 years, and I'm telling you, this is kind of like the open window where you can get really clean setups. It sweeps early liquidity, sets directions, explosive 40 to 80 pips. But all we're going to be looking for, and literally all we need, is 20 pips. This is the way for us to really capitalize off of trading this, and it is a lot easier than trading gold in my honest opinion, and a lot more smoother as well. So I want to talk about how we're going to trade this, and then we're going to look at the charts and look at some really clean setups, and I'm going to show you pros and cons. The step-by-step blueprint. Step 1, we're going to mark out the overnight highs and the overnight lows. So what I mean by that is, if we are looking at a London session, usually opening going towards the close is what we're looking for. We want to pay attention to the high of London and the low of London. That is realistically what we're looking for in theory when it comes to that. Now, however, we're going to get even more refined, and that basically just means more in detail of looking for London session that is going straight into New York overlapping, meaning towards the end of London session, we're going to be looking for that internal high and also that internal low. And that is what we are going to use to catch that quick 20 pips from 9:20 to 9:40 open window, even going to 10 a.m. as well. And then the second step, we're going to wait for a New York pre-open liquidity sweep. Once again, 9:20 to about 9:29 is what I want you guys to be looking for. Step 3, entry after sweep. So we're going to be making sure we enter after the sweep. And instead of us using the fib pullback, I'm going to show you guys another way. So you're going to have two different concepts of looking at the market. But I found that looking at the market the way I'm going to break down is more efficient, especially coming into Q3, going into Q4, rather than the fib pullback. And the reason being is simply because of the market has a different reaction when it comes to trading in Q1 and also Q2 than supposed to Q3 and Q4. All right. And then step 4, target the first and only the 20 pips. Leave running if trend is continuing. This is more for my advanced traders that is watching this video. If you know how to spot a continuation off of true price action patterns and true price action candles, then you will let this be a runner. But for anybody and everybody else that is simply want 20 pips, just go for 20 pips. And then step 5, stop trading literally by 10:15 a.m. to avoid choppiness. Let's go ahead and talk about how this will look in the market. All right, so now we're looking at the market, and we're going to look at one important thing that's going to make your lives easier as a trader. I have something called the sessions box. And this is what you're seeing in the colors. You have on your left side, orange. On your right side, you have like a greenish orange color. And then also further out, you just have pure green bluish color. This is the sessions. London is orange. When you get the overlapping of the two, that is London and New York. And then when you get just pure green, that is New York. This is something you can grab from TradingView if you go up top where you can't see. But if you go up top where you see indicators and you click indicators and you can type in trading session and you are able to go ahead and grab the trading session here. Now, one other thing I decided to add to the charts is the time frame interval. So you see it says 2, which means we're on a 2-minute time frame. Just because you cannot see it on the top right or the top left hand side, I decided to have it in the screen. So for those that's asking, you will know that this is 2-minute. And if I change it, you will also be able to see that. So let's go ahead and talk about this setup right here. Now, when it comes to London, the best high and the best lows you want to catch just to get this 2-hour open window will literally be the hour to an hour and 30 minutes before the New York overlapping happens with London. So if you look here on the charts right now, it's saying 6:42 a.m. This is just based off of the way that I have everything set. But this is where you want to start looking for the highs and the lows. So as you see, we had our high peak here. And also we had our low peak here. Now here's a cool incentive. If you get a high and a low that equals out, meaning that you get an equal and an equal, this is a higher probability that this trade is really going to go in your favor if it decides to either take out the highs or the lows. But regardless, it's going to play out very well. Now, the moment that New York opened, we immediately got this entire play of liquidity grabbing out this high immediately. Here's where you need to find and look for entries. You're going to be looking for a bullish or a bearish engulfing candle. This is known as a power candle that is going to oversee all of the other candles that was previous from this one candle. This is showing that the strength of either the sellers or the buyers are in the market right now, and this is your advantage to get into play. Once again, it is important to make sure you execute this quick with GatesFX, because once it's executed, you have to be ready just in case if this move was to just shoot down off the next 2-minute candle. But if you look closely, how we have our stop loss set is we always go for about 5 to 10 pips above the entry candle, and then we only really realistically try to go for a 1-to-1 at max. Pips needs to be, like I said, at least 20 pips. Let's see why. Here's an example of what you can really make with 20 pips. 20 pips move on Nasdaq. Going with one standard lot, which is basically the value of $1 per pip, can be $20 per pip. With a micro or a mini, let's say a mini, going with 0.10 could be 0.10 basically, which is 10 cents, which could be $2 on 20 pips. And then going with a micro at a 0.01, which is basically a penny. If you look, you're basically 20 pips at 0.20. Now, the goal is to get you guys at least 5 lots to 10 lots. Now, considering if you have an account of at least $1,000 or more, this could be doable depending on your overall stop loss, which is really what you guys will be risking overall just to make this. But considering this has a very high win rate, now going with 5 pips, that's $5 per pip, and you're looking at $250. And then with 10 pips, that is $500. Now, the beauty of this is if you play this outright, you're basically catching $250 per trade to $500 per trade. And with 2 trades per week, you're looking at about $1,000 to $2,000 weekly. And this is where scaling can really kick in if you want to trade Nasdaq. So this is why I'm saying 20 pips can really go a long way. But the problem is, since we come in the market with only $100, we're like, we need more. I want more. So our minds don't think like this. It thinks the opposite, and it thinks of us that we should overtrade, over leverage, and just go for every possible setup. But reality is you just need one setup and a really good day to trade this. And that's literally it. So let me show you guys another example of this setup. Now, this is what I consider a bad example. if you were to map up your highs on London and your lows on London, and then when New York kicks in and you notice you immediately start to see really big aggressive candles like the engulfing candles, as I mentioned earlier, this isn't what we will call liquidity. This can most likely just be a continuation, maybe from the previous day or even during the London session. If it was already going down and half of London was a pullback, then you might see this as a continuation. And this just might be another strategy that I even have as well for you guys for another video. But this is just showing you guys a bad example of what not to do if you see this. Now, let me give you another example of this setup with a very high stop loss, but still able to catch 20 pips. As you see, we have out our high and our low here, as well as we have a high all the way here, as well as our lowest point here. So either way, if you wanted to play any of these out, that's fine. But consider that if we were to go for this high here, notice that this move didn't happen until 10:30 a.m., which wouldn't fall within our strategy. So we would have missed out on that. But notice that this one happened literally during the opening of New York. Now look at this play. Notice that we had the move going out and then it broke the other way. Now this is what I mean by a setup that you sometimes want to make sure your risk is still fair, because if you look at this, the stop loss is bigger than the take profit, which is basically the 20 pips. And if you were to let this go out your favor, then this would have been a problem. But the beauty of this strategy, like I said, is just because of the 20 pips, and that's all we're looking for. And the window, that 2-hour window, we are really nitpicking this strategy to the T, where we will minimize as much losses to maximize as much wins. And this is the overall goal and the overall objective. So that being said, if you guys found this video very useful, comment, let me know this is useful. I love these videos. I love these breakdowns. That just lets me know I need to continue to drop videos like this. Other than that, if you guys want to get inside of our Trade with Solo community, where we do more in-depth, more live master classes, more live videos, everything you need to really make you a profitable trader, then you go with tradewithsolo.com. You can either go with option A or option B. You will be able to see those two options in there. Option A gives you a free option to join with our broker and deposit and start trading with them. Option B is just to go ahead and pay and you're in the community. Other than that, I appreciate you always dropping free gems here at tradewithsolo.com or even in my Solo ETV videos. Other than that, your boy Solo. See you guys in my next video. Peace.